What's up, y'all? So let's take a look at this video. Cop faces serious backlash after hitting a suspect with a squad car. This already doesn't sound good. Let's check it out.
On November 23rd, 2021, Officer Matthew Knutson conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle after it failed to give way to another motorist in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The driver, later identified as 47-year-old Robert Sanchez, allegedly pulled out into an intersection and nearly caused an accident. As Robert observed Officer Knutson turn around, he quickly pulled into a driveway and fled on foot.
Oh.
Traffic.
He must have a warrant or something on him.
Truck. Bravo Charles 1193. Get back to the car!
Oh, he was out for real.
Courtney's running south right towards you. Male Hispanic. Blue shirt.
Another officer nearby ordered him to stop, but he was non-compliant and continued fleeing.
Get on the ground! Sir, get on the ground!
Is he just walking around?
Get on the ground! Not listening to my commands. He's on Manitowoc by a house. Sir, get on the ground! Get on the ground! He's just walking around in the yard, won't listen to my commands, has his hands in his pockets.
This, you know what I find interesting about this right here is the fact that he probably sees the female officer and just feels zero level of threat with her. And she's actually giving ground and just kind of not getting herself involved in this. You notice that?
Sir, take your hands out of your pockets!
Look how far look how far away she is
Get
from
your
him.
hands out of your pockets! Where's my next unit? I need one here in Manitowoc and Bader.
She's just letting him go and do whatever.
Sir, get
A male officer, I'm sorry to say this, y'all. A male officer would not do. Male officer would approach them, try to take them down, and all of that.
run yourself on Bader again. Get on the ground!
I mean, at this point, she could. Well, if she was close enough, she could probably tase him. Can't justify shooting him right now.
Get on the ground, sir!
Bro, her backup is literally the worst. They haven't got to her yet?
Despite being commanded to show his hands several times, he refused, and the officer deployed her taser.
figured-
However, it had no effect.
Look, he had a hoodie on.
Taser, taser, taser! Oh,
Yo, my man's the Hulk. He just walked that off like nothing.
As Robert kept running,
We got a
Officer
taser.
Knutson drove his squad car over the curb and hit Robert with it, forcing him to the ground.
Get on the ground!
Yo, you can't do that.
Put your arms behind your back. Put your arms behind your back. Alright, slow down.
yep. Everything can go down.
Hold on, I gotta say this, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This is gonna probably be a very controversial take. Here it is, though. As we clearly watched, the female officer did not engage this guy whatsoever. Had that been a male officer, he would have engaged the guy, trying to take him down, deployed the taser a lot sooner, whatever the case may be. She didn't get involved in this at all until the male officers arrived. I generally don't think that female officers are cut out to be in law enforcement like this, and the physical aspect of it. It's just, it's the physical aspect of it. I've seen so many of these body cam videos where the female officer doesn't engage when a male would, when a male officer would. And there was a couple that I saw where as their male partner was actually trying to, restrain a resisting offender, they just kind of waited for them to shuffle it out. They didn't, one of the female officers didn't jump in to help her. This is very, very, in my opinion, problematic. And also, I'd be curious to see what is the statistics where female officers, women officers deploy and use lethal force compared to the males. I'd be curious to see if there was I would suspect that they might be more inclined to go to deadly force because they're more adept to feel like their life is in danger. Because if there's a 6-foot guy coming at her, You know what I'm saying? She in her mental's like, I can't take this big guy down. I just got to shoot him real quick. You see where I'm going at with this? Moon might have been her first chase. I don't know. I mean, listen, I don't want to speculate, but just looking at how she handled it, that's all I'm looking at. How she handled it. A male officer would not have handled that the same way that she did. And I've seen these repeatedly on these body cam videos where a female officer is by herself, that they will be very hands-off-ish until a male officer arrives, and then the males do the engagement. They go and do the physical part of it. I just think that if you're in that line of work, you have an expectation to, like, you're gonna have to get physical. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Again, I know this might not sit well, but I see it. I see now a lot of these videos.
Can't breathe. It's on fire. I can't breathe. I'm good. I can't breathe. I just didn't want to get on. I had nobody. I can't breathe. He kept reaching in his jacket pocket. I can't breathe.
What's your name?
Robert Sanchez.
Why'd you run?
I'm scared.
You're scared of what?
I'm scared. Gosh, keep stunning rock.
Okay, catch your breath.
You're
not injured. Okay.
I know.
You just hit him.
You're not injured.
I know.
Catch your breath.
Bro, I would have been in there, my neck, my back, my feet, my calves. I would have been in there just like in the movie, talking about every pain in my body because I got hit by a car. I would have been winning an Academy Award at how bad I would have been on that floor. My legs, my butt, my back of my thigh, all of it. You ran me over. I would have just repeated that over and over. You ran me over. You ran me over. And make sure you got it on all their body cam footage, all of it.
What's your name?
Robert Sanchez.
Robert Sanchez.
Yeah.
Almost 11 months later, the Brown County District Attorney's Office contacted the Green Bay Police Department regarding Officer Knutsen's actions that night. The body cam and squad car video of the incident were immediately reviewed alongside Officer Knutsen's police report. While examining the report, it revealed inconsistencies in his explanation of how his squad car came into contact with Robert during the pursuit.
Isn't that funny how all of the reports never align with the video evidence? Isn't it? There needs to be definitive sanctions and disciplinary actions for when these officers' reports do not match the body cam. It is such a blatant way that they lie in these reports. They write something totally different. Then when the body cam footage is reviewed, they see something that isn't what they outlined in their report, and then nothing happens. Nothing comes of it. Most times anyway.
Following the assessment of the footage, Officer Knutsen was placed on paid administrative leave, and the Green Bay Police Chief requested an investigation to be conducted by the Sheriff's Office. Approximately 6 months passed, and the DA's office officially filed a criminal complaint against Officer Knutsen. The police chief made a public statement saying, "We take all allegations of misconduct by Green Bay police officers seriously. I will not tolerate excessive force, ethical violations, or criminal activity by GBPD members." In Officer Knutsen's report, he stated, "I started to pull my vehicle up on the western side of the driveway in order to get my vehicle out of the roadway due to the other vehicles already on the road." The criminal complaint emphasized that statement, saying, "You will find in his report that he describes him hitting Robert with his squad car at the last second and other vehicles being in the road.
There's no camera.
Squad camera tells a different story.
Yeah.
There is no other vehicle in the roadway in front of
Bro,
Officer
what a
Knutsen's
liar.
right to left and headed towards a driveway.
Look at that.
The district attorney further explained, there was no need for Officer Knutsen to drive on the grass as there was no other vehicle in the driveway at that time. Additionally, he mentioned the officers on scene seemed to be amused by Robert's situation. He mentioned the timestamp of the occurrence, saying, "After placing Robert in the rear of the squad car, Knutsen can be seen mimicking Robert hobbling after being struck, to the laughter of the other officers on scene." It was also discovered that the use of force sheet submitted by Knutsen did not mention him striking Robert with his squad car. The district attorney said Knutsen gave a further indication that he meant to imply he had struck Robert accidentally. Without the use of force sheet, In some of the video recordings being disclosed, it is hard to determine how reliable these statements are. However, this wasn't the first time Officer Knutson was investigated for his conduct. In
Of course
2018,
not. Of
Officer
course.
Knutson was one of 9 other officers that were suspended because of a harassment investigation. A report of the internal investigation stated there was a pattern of harassment by a small group of night shift officers. Some officers who were interviewed during the investigation described the night shift atmosphere like a frat house. The report further showed a female officer was the victim of hazing and harassment. She reportedly was so stressed out that she had to take off work to avoid harassment. Officer Matthew Knutson, the 13-year veteran of the Green Bay Police Department, was charged with felony misconduct in public
All right,
office
let's go.
and misdemeanor negligent operation.
Let's
of a
go.
vehicle. Robert was charged with misdemeanor counts of resisting, obstructing an officer, and operating while revoked. On the prosecutor's motion, both charges were dismissed shortly before the DA's office informed the police department of Officer Knutson's conduct.
So, you know, they probably dropped him in hopes that he wouldn't sue them or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, we're going to drop it. We're going to pursue these criminal charges on the other guy.
At this time, Knutson's investigation is still underway.
Get fucked. Hey, man, this is one of the, this was such a feel-good ending to this one right here. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, these small town cops, man, can be really problematic. You know what I mean? The whole fact that they said that there was some kind of situation going on when they were harassing a female officer in the night squad. You know, small town Green Bay. It's not like it's a huge city and everything. I mean, it's Green Bay, but it's still, come on, man. You know what I mean? And they think they can get away with everything. And what blows my mind is all of these officers now have body cams. Do they not remember that it's recording at all times? It's even more egregious when the reports don't align with what happened with the footage, or when it doesn't match with what happened in the video footage. It's that much more egregious, because at this point, they really don't care. They just try and cover it up in their reports. And then when the DAs and all of that's made in discovery, and the defense team looks at it all, then they start picking it away. Like, wait a minute, they said one thing, the video shows something totally different here. How does this reconcile with each other? It doesn't. So my point is that this is really telling of how bad some of these officers will lie, even when there's video footage recording everything nowadays. Most of the departments have body cam. It's becoming more of a standard. And certainly in more of the major cities, it's employed, and it's trickling down into like suburban officers and the rural stuff like that. More and more departments are having it as a means to, 1, cover their ass, 2, hold people accountable. It's probably one of the best things in policing that's ever happened. And actually it should just be a federal law that all law enforcement is required to have body cams on all of their officers and vehicles. It's a huge expense, but that would probably go a long way in terms of, you know, the sentiment of the public about policing. If they knew that every department is required to do this, have it, and that they can also file freedom of information and so on and so forth to get copies of the footage there, you know, to review. It's one of the great things about these channels on YouTube that post up these body cam videos, because it really shines a light on a lot of this stuff. And again, like pieces of shit like this guy right here, who clearly made up a totally different story. And it's so absurd. He said that he pulled on the curb because of, you know, oncoming traffic and traffic that was on the road, when clearly we saw the video and it was wide open. Late at night, there was just like a parked car or two. So he really gave no shits and was really just trying to make up a lie to cover his ass. And I'm glad that he's getting fucked, and hopefully he's off the police force. Pieces of shit like him don't deserve to be on it, for sure.